Who I believe to be the true birthers of choosing beggars, it's entitled parents. Our first one is from Pectus Parvis. So I found out I was pregnant in mid-January. Happy news! I told my parents at the end of January, and I asked they not share the news yet, as I was only 6 weeks pregnant at the time. That same day, she messaged a friend, or probably two, and told them my news. I asked her why she did that, and she said, friend, won't tell anybody. Okay, I get she's excited for her first grandchild. I let it slide. At this time, I'm also packing a house for a move to a new state, fixing the house to sell, looking for a new job, interviewing, caring for pets, and continuing my job. 2 or 3 weeks later, my mom posted on Facebook the photo of my ultrasound on her stories. I was so angry at her that when I tried to call her, I couldn't get the words out. She knew about it right when it happened, and left it up for 2 hours until I called. Her only response was, "I know I messed up." So I'm sobbing in my closet, and my husband is there to comfort me. But I'm so distraught and angry, I can't bring myself to talk to my mom. Well, she just told me she knew she was wrong, so I expected her to remove it. She didn't. My husband messages her the YouTube video of how to remove it, and she doesn't respond. The following morning, it's been up almost 12 hours now, I got a friend to tell me I should just log into her account and take it down myself. My mom wasn't answering calls at that point anymore and not reading messages, so that's exactly what I did. At least predictable in that regard. It took me 1 password attempt and 3 buttons to remove it from her stories. A whole 20 seconds to take it down. Now I'm fuming, and I have nothing to say to her for over 2 weeks. Fast forward to my 12 weeks, and I have a bleeding scare and have to head to the doctors to check the baby. Of course I wanted to call my mom and let her know I was needing her support. The call was short. I was anxious. She was happy to hear from me. Now remember, I was able to log into her Facebook account? Well, I also had her messages notifications, so it turns out she messaged at least 5 people, not family, about my issue and asked them to pray for me. Not something I asked her to do, and surprised me she would think of that, considering she already knew I was mad at her for sharing my news publicly. My dad wanted to visit to help me pack my house, and my mom wanted to come with. So they visited, and it was awkward. I tried to talk to her about posting, but I couldn't find the right words because I was so upset, and I confronted her with the wrong things. I asked her why she told so many people about my bleeding, and she said, "I only told family." A lie. I was so dumbfounded by her lie, I teared up and asked her why. She said, "Because I thought a prayer circle would help." But I said, "I didn't ask you for that. I didn't want anyone knowing anything." Her response was one I've heard her say my whole life, and it's the worst response she could have given me. "I'll never do that again." It's her empty solution to everything. Every time she's wronged me as a child, teen, young adult, and now as a mother, she's used that phrase to placate me, shut me up, move on from her mistakes. No real solution. I just walked away from her. I'm surprised that this entitled mother didn't learn the first time that sharing other people's information isn't her place to do so unless she was given permission. I don't understand the logic in it, but makes me wonder if she's going to be spoken to very little in the future. And our final one is by To Single Mom. I had no intentions to do a new post, but today absolutely took the cake. To those that don't know, my daughter, 6 years old, was born from a one-night stand with Jeff. We were never romantically involved. It was a simple one-night stand, and we did use contraceptives, but they failed. It happens. A few months ago, Jeff went full psycho and tried to convince me to leave my daughter with him so she could serve as a replacement child for his wife, who recently lost their infant daughter. I refused, and now we're in the middle of some legal issues. Now for today, I thankfully didn't deal with Jeff. Instead, he sent a priest to harass me at work. I'm going to be very blunt. I'm completely detached from religion. I'm not an atheist, just don't really like the idea of the Catholic Church. That's the leading religion in my home country. I respect it, and most of my family is Catholic, so I have a detached respect for church officials. Today, I was doing some paperwork when I got a call about a priest asking for me. I didn't have any meetings scheduled, and a lot of times we get visits from clergy asking for donations or participation in events, so I figured that's what it was. I told the secretary to let him in, and things at first seemed rather polite. Shake hands, asking how things were, the usual chit-chat. Then the priest began talking about how it had come to his attention that I was a single woman with a child, and that apparently I lived a life of debauchery and hate. His words. I was taken aback and agreed I was a single mother, but that I didn't see how I lived in debauchery and hate. The priest then went on about how he knew my daughter is prohibited from spending time with her father, and that I'm constantly sleeping around with men instead of living a godly life. How he was worried and thought it would be best I considered giving my daughter a chance to live with a proper family rather than see me sell myself. Angry was an understatement. I did keep it civil, simply because I was at work and I had no intentions of screaming to a religious man at work. I simply told him that my daughter was fine with me. She lived a safe and happy life. My personal affairs were my own, and that I have no intentions of sending her to another household. I told him that if there was nothing else, he should probably leave as I had other things to attend to. He then showed his hand, and that's how I know it was Jeff's doing. The priest told me he didn't think my daughter would be a happy child with me. But her father was well respected in his church, and he knew he would raise a proper Christian lady. I laughed at that and simply said no. I once again recommended he leave, and if he didn't, I would be calling security. He left, saying he would try to speak to me again when I'm not being hysterical. I told my secretary and our security not to let him into my office again, and I called my lawyer. I don't have audio, but we do have security feed from him walking into my office. I definitely could see the child's father attempting to talk to the priest to get to talk to the mother to go this route. I mean, people do extreme things, especially when it comes to their kids. But the sad thing is, and I see it so many times, a lot of times when parents are fighting over their kids, they're not trying to do what's best for the kid. They're trying to do what's best for them. But in this case, I feel the mother is actually putting her kid first and doing what's best for both of them. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled Parents. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.